According to the U.S. Census Bureau, New Mexico is among the top 3 states in the country for seniors living in poverty, with about 12% living in poverty here. That's higher than the national average at 9%.
It's ramping up to be a very busy time for UPS drivers here in Albuquerque, and I've got my own official UPS uniform. I've got the hat here, and I've got my friend, veteran driver Ron, and he's going to take us along.
So you yourself might be a very generous donor, but you have to be careful who you give your money to. Things to look out for. Again, the biggest red flag are gift cards. So here are the big takeaways. If you're older and you don't have enough money, Krinsky says work until you're no longer able to health-wise. And if you're still a ways from retiring, she says invest in an IRA or a Roth IRA if your work doesn't have a 401k retirement plan. Also, the biggest thing here is live below your means.
I call the plumbers. It got fixed.
Okay, but it's not fixed right now because we still see the sewage backing up.
I have it done fixed today.
Scammers are targeting neighborhoods just like this one. Going door to door, looking for unsuspecting victims, telling them their insurance company wants their DNA. Cutting the cord. Cord cutter?
Yeah, basically.
Your call has been forwarded to voicemail.
No answer, but almost immediately after, we got a text from someone asking for money. Here's what it said. I need to get eBay gift card for a friend of mine going through cancer in the hospital. Generally, the rule of thumb is to save 15% of your income for retirement. But last month, a professor from an Ivy League school suggested that millennials save 40%. So we decided to order some costumes online, and we were looking for deals on cheap costumes. And we ordered off of 3 different websites. We paid for rush shipping and got everything by the promised date. This year really is a growing year for them, trying to find out what works, what doesn't work. So what they have right now, really minimal. They're hoping next year they can grow 4 times as much. George Garcia is enjoying the good life in his golden years.
I came out for a walk around, but it's a little too hot.
He just turned 67 years old, but George isn't slowing down. He loves getting outdoors.
I like to come out here at least 3 times a week.
Not too long ago, George received a gift from his son, a DNA test kit, a popular one that tells someone their ethnic background.
You know, I'm curious as to where my family came from.
Submitting a sample is still on his to-do list. George trusts his son and the DNA kit gift, but other senior citizens are falling victim to a scam involving DNA kits. So here's what's going on. Scammers are targeting neighborhoods just like this one. Going door to door, looking for unsuspecting victims, telling them their insurance company wants their DNA.
They're basically being told, you have to take this test so that we can see where you're at with your benefits, whether you can keep them.
All right, here's the deal. Asking for your DNA is really all a front. What the scammers are really trying to do is gain your trust so that in addition to collecting your DNA, you're also willing to give them sensitive information like a social security number and Medicaid or Medicare numbers. The scammers claim they need this information to process your kits. New Mexico Better Business Bureau spokesperson Matthew Morris says the scammers are targeting Medicaid recipients over the phone as well.
In other instances, we have seen people call before that and then say, hey, we're sending you this, you have to take it, you have to, and then there'll be follow-up calls.
As for George,
Then I've had some people come up to my door.
he's not putting up with any of that. He's had door-to-door scammers visit him in the past on other issues.
I just closed the door on them.
So scammers, be warned. George and others like him are onto you. Now this really does sound like a scare tactic. Take this DNA test kit or lose your health benefits. Well, the BBB says don't take the bait. Now here are some things that you need to look out for. Number 1, call your doctor. He or she will talk to you about what kind of test that you need or suggests you take to see if you may be at risk for a disease. Also call your insurance provider to verify this. You want to check this out. And lastly, report this. The Health and Human Services Department is investigating these kinds of scams. They have opened a hotline for you to call if this does happen to you. We'll put that on our website. With this 4 Investigates Alert, I'm Colton Shone, KOB4. It's ramping up to be a very busy time for UPS drivers here in Albuquerque, and I've got my own official UPS uniform. I've got the hat here, and I've got my friend, veteran driver Ron, and he's going to take us along. Ron Thurman is no rookie.
This is my 32nd Christmas. Wow. I was hired on in, I think, 1984 as Christmas help.
He's got his route down to a science, and Ron is ready for the holiday rush.
It's kind of like a organized chaos.
This time of year, UPS hires a lot of extra helpers, and today, I'm one of them.
The RDL, that's where it's loaded in your truck. So it's rear door left. So you don't have to worry about it.
Thank you so much.
Ron has been on this route for years. He's gotten to know the people he delivers to.
Cool beans.
I love Ron, he's the best.
I'm getting a crash course in on-the-job training.
Okay, now you can scan the other 2 packages.
Okay. Got it?
No, I didn't do it.
And it is tough.
Let's have you sign that.
Thank you.
Ron typically does about 180 stops a day, but during this time of year, he'll make about 350 stops.
To get the job done, you have to hurry up. You got to keep your wheels moving and your feet moving.
For this next stop at an apartment complex, it's my turn to earn my browns. That's what they call the uniform.
So go ahead and scan it.
Hi there, how's it going? Got a package for you.
Do 2087.
2087. Great. And your last name?
Scott.
Scott. Okay.
So hit signature.
Signature, and then.
Thank you.
Watch out, Ron. I think I'm getting the hang of this.
A lot of people are counting on us to take them the kids the gifts and the presents, and we got to try not to let them down.
Colton Shone, KOB Eyewitness News 4.
And you can also ask UPS to hold your package at its facility up to 5 business days, free of charge.
For the Salgado brothers, growing hemp is a family affair.
First-time farmer, my thoughts were that, boy, this sure looks like marijuana, doesn't it?
Rules changed this year for farmers in our state. They can now legally grow hemp for industrial uses.
This plant is grown really for the medicinal purposes.
That's not all. Salgado says hemp can be used in textiles, also as an alternative to plastics. The difference between this plant and marijuana is it contains a minuscule amount of the ingredient that gets you high, THC.
We'll grow them in pots.
The Salgados bought this Belen farm earlier this year.
We got these plants when they were clones, probably about this big, and it's taken, what, 4 months? 4.5 months for this to develop.
Now their 1,700 square foot greenhouse has about 75 plants. A state agriculture department official tells KOB roughly 400 licenses to produce hemp were given out this year. That's more than 7,500 potential acres of cultivation statewide.
Our state could really be a leader in this industry, for sure.
The Salgado brothers telling me that this year really is a growing year for them, trying to find out what works, what doesn't work. So what they have right now, really minimal. They're hoping next year they can grow 4 times as much. I'm Colton Shone, KOB4.